It is National Teen Dating Violence Prevention and Awareness Month. So it's a good time to talk to your teen. If you have a teen child or teen family member, teen friend, talk to them about the dangers of, dating violence. Pay attention to the signs, let them know that love does not hurt. I experienced a lot of childhood trauma and I didn't get any counseling. I was sexually abused the majority of my childhood and I never got any help for it until my adulthood, late in my adulthood. I've only in the last few years have gotten the help I needed. So it was just a lot of stuff that I needed help with and I didn't get. I had no business dating. So before you date, make sure you truly love yourself. Make sure you truly know yourself. And just know the red flags of an abusive partner. When I was maybe 18, I think I was about 18, I was dating a guy and he seemed like Prince Charming in the beginning. He seemed really great. He had an insecurity. He had really messed up teeth. Messed up as in it was missing, it was big, it was spaced. It needed help. You know what I'm saying? But I still liked him. I mean, I have my own flaws. I have a lazy eye, so I was not one to judge people for having imperfections. But you could tell it was an insecurity of his, right? I'm the one who made the first move. You know what I'm saying? I basically almost threw myself at him. But we end up together. We end up, having a lot of things in common. Everything seemed well. But I also had my insecurity. I needed a lot of reassurance. So I was supposed to be going to my high school prom. I didn't even really want to go, but I was like, I got a boyfriend. Why don't I just go to the prom? Like everybody at school was talking about the prom. And I just knew people, but I really didn't have any friends. So I was insecure and I was just trying to feel a part of something, even though in my heart, I felt like I shouldn't have gone. I had a boyfriend. Why not? He didn't want to go. I was like, hey, I'm going to the prom. He wasn't interested because of his teeth. He let it be known, like, no, my teeth is messed up. I don't want to go. So he was like, oh, no, you could go with somebody else. Why don't you just go with somebody else? And I felt some type of way about him telling me to go to the prom with somebody else. I really felt like we were in love. I felt like I loved him. I thought he loved me. But he was like, you should go with somebody else. I thought it was weird that he was okay with me going to the prom with another dude. But I found a date from like a mutual friend, and like I said, I just wanted to feel a part of something, but I really wanted to go to my boyfriend. I was really disappointed and sad that he didn't want to go with me. So I went to the prom with somebody else, and I just felt like everybody else was at the prom with their man, their boo, their whoever, and I'm there with somebody that's not my man. And I just was in the moment and feeling insecure, and I ended up like making out with my date. We did not have sexual relations. I did not have sexual relations with that man. I knew it wasn't right to kiss on somebody, to make out with anybody, but I felt insecure. I felt like everybody else was a man, everybody else was probably getting it in one prom night and having a good time. So we started making out, and he actually was really like kissing on my neck really hard. I have lighter complexion, so it's easy to see something. So he was sucking on my neck, and I remember it was on the left side. He sucked on it really hard, and I was like, oh my God. After the fact, I realized like I felt bad about it, and I felt like, oh my gosh, look what he did to my neck, and now my boyfriend is gonna see it. So I forgot where he was. I think my boyfriend one day was dropping me off to a friend's house, and I was trying my best, y'all, to hide the hickey from him. I thought I was doing a good job, but apparently I wasn't. So as I'm exiting his truck, he noticed the hickey when I was hopping out. And he's like, wait a minute. He's like, what's that? And I was like, dang, he got me. What did I expect? He was going to notice this. It's like I was wearing a turtleneck. I just was trying to cover it with my jacket or my hair. I don't remember what I was doing. So he saw it, and he basically switched from this nice, good guy to this like Hulk. I don't know. He basically was calling me all kind of names and yelling at me. So things were not the same after that. So basically he was like devastated. You know, he in his mind, he thought I had sexual relations with the guy. He thought I had sex with him. But I tried to tell him, I was pleading with him, no, I did not have sex with him. I was like, I'm sorry, I regret it. You know, I didn't at the time know how to vocalize with him that I was feeling insecure, and I felt like you didn't really love me because why didn't you go to the prom with me? So I threw myself on another guy, but I really wanted to be at the prom with you. But he wasn't hearing it. In his mind, we had full-blown sex. And I know that kissing is cheating. I know that. But at the time, my brain wasn't thinking like that. So he, to get back at me because he thought I cheated on him like really bad. Kissing is cheating. So I'm not trying to downplay it, but he wasn't fair. And I know when somebody's getting somebody back, when revenge, they're not going to go exactly. So, but he went and found some girl, old fling that he used to have, or maybe current fling, I don't know. He called some chick and they had sex and started becoming an item, I guess. And I was devastated. It broke my heart so bad. Picked me up one night and told me to come in the car. I don't know why I went in the car with him, but he picked me up. He was playing a Justin Timberlake song, Cry Me a River, the remix with Timberland. And he played that, made me hear it. And he basically was like, you know, just making me feel terrible for what happened, and drove me around the neighborhood. In hindsight, I realized how scary it was to be in a car with him. He drove me around the neighborhood, and then he dropped me off somewhere else where I didn't live. So he made me walk home. He picked me up from my home and he dropped me off somewhere else to be petty, to hurt my feelings, to be nasty to me. And I was so devastated when he ended up having sex with that girl. I really was so devastated. I was throwing myself at him. I really wanted to be with him still. I was willing to do like a three-way relationship with him, because I'm like, that's how desperate I felt for him. But he just was treating me worse and worse every day. One time I invited him to my home, trying to please him, trying to be, I guess, adventurous with him. And I was like, why don't we try to have sexual relations in the shower? And he got so mad because I don't know, the water temperature wasn't good or whatever it was. He started yelling at me and he called me the B word. He straight up called me a B. And that was the first time he ever did that. But I guess he was just so mad. She knew that I was desperate for him. He knew that I didn't want to end things. He knew that I was so sorry. And so he was still having sex with the other chick, having sex with me. But he was basically saying, oh, she's mine. You know, I'm with her now. Eventually, he stopped dealing with me, you know. And when he officially, like, broke it off with me, I was devastated. Like, I was crying profusely on the phone with him, like, begging him, please, please, you know. And I felt like my life was over. Like, that was the first time I ever felt like suicidal, because I felt like my world was over. But I honestly wish that he would have just broke up with me and left it, because he just basically strung me along and became verbally and emotionally abusive towards me because of me, you know, cheating on him. Yes, I did cheat on him. Yes, I did kiss somebody else, but it was not my intention. I really truly loved him, but I was insecure. I had low self-esteem, and him not going to the prom with me made me feel like he didn't really love me. And I'm like, why would my boyfriend, I basically started questioning our relationship. Why would my boyfriend want me to go to a prom with a whole nother dude? I wanted him to stand up for us, like, hey, either you're not gonna go to the prom or I'm going to the prom. But to make me go with another dude, like, why was that even an option? And I wish I never went to the prom, but I really learned who he really was. Like, everything does happen for a reason, you know. But I honestly thought that he was the love of my life. But I you know, years later, I'm like, the love of my life wouldn't have treated me like that. The love of my life would have been like, you know what? We're going to work it out, or I'm going to leave you alone. But to string me along and just to be verbally and emotionally abusive to me was completely wrong. And he was a little bit older than me. So he was at least 22, 23 years old. And the worst part about it, y'all, is that he I was young and dumb, you know. I was in love with him and I thought he was my forever boyfriend. So when we had sex, there was a time when I gave him fellatio. I performed oral sex on him one time, and he took pictures of it. I allowed him to take pictures of it. You know, back then, you know, in the early 2000s, I didn't think about like anything, you know. So he kept those pictures because I was like, oh, that's my boyfriend. So after we broke up, he still kept the pictures, and he threatened to spread the pictures all around. He threatened to show the pictures to everybody. And I was like, no, you cannot do that. I'm going to call the police. And he was like, if you call the police, you're going to regret it. I'm going to make you regret calling the police on me. And I remember him even telling my mom about the pictures, and him telling my mom about how I'm a slut, I'm a hoe, all these things. And I remember my mom, the only thing she really said to me was, oh, it's a shame what he's doing to you. But she never really like helped me with anything. She never did anything. She never got me any counseling. She never like stood up for me, helped me figure out how to call the police or report this. She was just like, oh, it's a shame how he's doing you. But she really didn't help me. I was going through a lot at that time. Like, I was suicidal. I wanted to take my life because of how he made me feel like dirt and trash. He humiliated me. And I didn't know at the time that what he was doing is basically revenge porn. You know, I could have really took him to court, but he threatened me, and I was scared that he would have did worse things to me if I reported him to the police. I never reported him. So to this day, I don't know where those pictures are. To this day, I don't know what he ever really did with it. I don't know who he showed those pictures to, but he's a nasty person. I remember seeing him years later, and he like, you know, said hi to me. I said hi to him, but it's like, I wish I never would have said hi to him. He was not the nice guy that he portrayed himself to be. And now when I think about it, I think he was a narcissist. In hindsight, I don't care what anybody says. Nice people are still nice even when they're upset. So you can be mad like, hey, well, how can you do this to me? You broke my heart. But to humiliate people, to degrade someone, to verbally abuse somebody, that's not love, and you're not a nice person. So for years, it took me a while to get over. For years, I would regret it, like what I did. For years, I would blame myself. But I was young and I was unhealed. I was still recovering from childhood trauma. Only a few years before, I was abused by a family member, you know, and my whole family victim blamed me for that. So I was in a very vulnerable space in my life, and I was just looking for love. Like, my whole life, I've always been looking for love. And that was a very low, very, very low time in my life. And I've never experienced that. But that was my first time experiencing I feel like now, a narcissist. You know, I was set up to deal with another narcissist later in my life. And, you know, all nice guys are not nice. They come off nice, but when they don't get their way, when they feel like you're not making them look good, you know, they humiliate you. And he was just all about image, I guess. You know, guys, their egos are fragile. So I'm going to say, like, yes, I was wrong for cheating on my boyfriend by kissing another person, but he was not right for all the things he did after that. He really tried to like ruin my life and blackmail me, and that was horrible. And I hope that he, you know, something in life taught him a lesson from that. I don't know what happened to that guy. I don't know where he is to this day. But dating violence is not just physical, it is verbal and emotional. And I'm glad I survived that, but it was a horrible time of my life. And I never intentionally meant to hurt anyone. I've always just wanted love. And the guys I dealt with just really didn't care about me. It was all about them. But I hope that if anybody out there is experiencing any, you know, physical, verbal, emotional abuse in a relationship and you're a teen, please know that it's not okay. It's not okay for your boyfriend to make you feel like trash, bring you down, call you names. You know, a lot of times that's how it starts. Thankfully, he never put his hands on me. But the time that we were in the shower, he called me the B word. And it's like, I felt like he wanted to hit me. He flinched at me like, you know what I'm saying? And I was scared of him that day. I never felt that much fear, but because of my cheating scandal, he degraded me ever since that day. He was basically punishing me ever since that cheating. And that I didn't deserve that. I really didn't. Like I said, I'd rather him just had broken off with me instead of dragging me through the mud like that and just dragging me, just dragging it on. Just let's let my heart be broken without you doing all of that. I want every girl out there to know that a nice guy is still nice even when he's upset. A nice guy is still nice even when you tell him no. A nice guy is still nice even when he doesn't get his way, okay? So don't blame yourself. You make mistakes, but that doesn't give someone a right to treat you like trash. It doesn't give someone a right to put their hands on you, to verbally and emotionally abuse you, and to exploit you, to spread your pictures or your videos, the private pictures and videos that you sent your boyfriend. That's something that was supposed to be between you and him. You should never do that. I learned my lesson. That was back in early 2000s, 20 something years ago, right? Don't ever send nude pictures or any pictures of you doing anything inappropriate with genitals involved. You never know what your ex can do with those pictures to blackmail you to whatever satisfaction they get out of it, and you can't sue them. But just be safe out there, girls, when you're dating. Love does not hurt, and sometimes things just don't work out. Don't blame yourself. Everything happens for a reason. We live and we learn. Every relationship is not meant to last. If one relationship doesn't work out, somebody else is there for you. Some people, you're gonna know them for a few months, a few years. You just know, you don't know how it's gonna last, but you just gotta take it for what it is and move on with your life, because you deserve to be happy and you deserve love, okay? And if you're experiencing anything like this, I'm gonna leave a phone number on the screen. I'm gonna leave information in my video description for support. And don't be afraid to talk to your parents. If you have a supportive parent, that is. Some parents are not supportive. I didn't have a supportive parent. I didn't have a parent that I could go and talk to. Like, Mom, this is what's going on with me. Mom, he's doing this to me. Mom, I feel horrible. Mom, I'm depressed. I didn't have that kind of parent. I didn't know about counseling. I didn't know about therapy. So I'm going to leave all the information in my video description. But you are not alone. There's a lot of people who are dealing with the situation you're dealing with. You're not alone. But know that you don't deserve that. You don't deserve bad things. You deserve good things. If you're a good person, you deserve good things. And everyone makes mistakes, but it's not okay to bully, torment, or abuse other people, okay? It's better to just leave people alone than to like be involved with them. If someone is not making you happy, whether they cheated on you or whatever the situation is, leave them alone.